Hello everyone, we are Team 1, and today we are going to present the topic Theory of Constraints, developed by Elijah Goldratt. This theory explains how companies can improve productivity by identifying the main limitation that after production system. In every company, there is usually a bottleneck or constraint that slows the process, and Goldratt explains that by improving those constraints, companies can increase efficiency and profits. In this presentation, we will explain the rules for scheduling production according to Goldratt and the theory of constraints now. Let's begin. Rules for scheduling production according to Goldratt. According to Goldratt, production scheduling must focus on the bottleneck of the system. A bottleneck is reduced with the lowest capacity and it limits the entire production process. One important rule says that companies must balance the flow, not the capacity. This means that companies should focus on management and continuous production from inside of keeping our machines busy. Another rule says that one horse loss at the bottleneck is one horse loss for the whole system. For this reason, bottlenecks must always work efficiently. Theory of constraints. The theory of constraints, also called TCO talk, is management philosophy created by Elijah Goldratt. The main idea is that every system has at least one constraint that prevents high performance. The objective is to identify the constraints and improve it to increase productivity and profits. Goldratt process 5 steps. Identify the constraints, explore it, subordinate of process, elevate the constraints, and repeat the process for continuous improvement.
I'm going to explain three ideas based on Goldratt's theory of constraints. First, the goal of company, according to Goldratt, is simple: to make money now and in the future. So basically, every decision the company makes should help it stay profitable over time, not just in the short term. Second, to measure how well a company is doing, Goldratt used three main concepts: throughput, inventory, and operating expense. Throughput is which how fast the company is generating money through sales. Inventory, which is the money company has invested in products or materials. Operating expense, which is the money spent to run the business and through inventory into sales. From a financial point of view, a company is doing well if it increases throughput and reduce inventory and expenses. From an operations point of view, the focus is on improving the production flow, especially by identifying bottlenecks or the slowest part of the process. Finally, productivity is the theory means doing things that actually move the company closer to its goal. So it's not about being busy, but about doing the right thing to help the business make more money. So this is how works into the industry. So thanks.
Hello, my name is Antonio Alonso Lucas. Today I am going to tell about the theory of constraints. Specifically, I will explain dependent events and statistical fluctuation, bottlenecks and constrained resources, and the basic elements in manufacturing. Let's start. First, I will talk about dependent events and statistical fluctuation. Dependent events are activities that depend on each other. This means one spent canon starts until the previous one finishes. For example, in a production line, each worker depends on the previous worker. Statistical fluctuation are a variation in time or performance. Sometimes a process is fast and sometimes it is slow. When we combine dependent events and fluctuation, the system becomes less efficient and delays can happen. Now, I will explain bottlenecks and constrained resources. Bottleneck is the part of the system that has the lowest capacity. It limits the production of the whole system. For example, if one machine is slower than the others, it becomes a bottleneck. Constrained resources are limited resources that affect production. It is important to identify and improve them to increase efficiency. Finally, I will talk about the basic elements in manufacturing. There are then main elements: raw materials, process, and finished products. Raw materials are the inputs used to create products. Process are the steps to transform materials. Finished production are the final result ready for customers. All these elements must work together to have a good production system. In conclusion, dependent event and the fluctuation after performance. Bottlenecks limited production and they must be improved. And manufacturing need good coordination on materials, process, and products. Thank you for your attention.
Hi, my name is Jonathan, and I'm gonna talk about the drum buffer rope system. Well, we have that drum buffer rope system is a shielding method in theory of constraints and is used to control the production flow. We have the drum that represents the bottleneck constraint, sets the pace of the entire system, and determines production rhythm. Then we have the buffer, is a protected inventory placed before the bottleneck, prevents interruptions in the constraint, and absorbs variability in the system. Then we have the rope, is a communication signal in the system, controls the release of materials, and ensures synchronization with the bottleneck. And all these elements work together to maintain continuous flow, reduce delays, and improve system efficiency. Then we have the throughput inventory operating expense. Are the main performance measures in the theory of constraints and then help evaluate the system efficiency. We have the throughput is the rate at which the system generates money through sales, focuses on finished product sold, and is the main goal to increase. Then we have the inventory. The inventory includes all the resources invested in the system, represents materials, products, work in process. Then we have the operative expense. This is the cost required to run the system, includes labor, energy, and other expenses, and should be reduced without affecting the throughput. And all these elements is they help us to measure the system performance, support decision making, and improve profitability. Then we have the continuous improvement in TOC. It's an ongoing process to improve the system performance, focuses on eliminations constraint, and all the system is based on identify the system limitations, improve the weakest part of the system, repeating the process continuously, and following the TOC logic. Once constraint is eliminated, a new constraint appears and the cycle starts again. And all these things requires constant analysis, decision making, and process adaptation. And the application of the TOC in organizations, they used to manufacturing systems, service operations, and supply chains. This help the organizations to identify bottlenecks, improve production flow, optimize their resource utilization, and supports to have better decision making, process efficiency, and cost control. In implementing this process help us to identify the constraint, improve the constraint, and all signal processes. And as a conclusion, as like a team, we have the theory of constraints. It's a powerful tool that helps organizations improve their performance by focusing on their most critical limitations. Through is working understood that instead of trying to optimize every part of system, and is more effective to identify and manage the main constraint. Concepts like bottlenecks, throughput, and continuous improvement show how systems can become more efficient over time. And the talk is very practical and applicable in different industries, and it can make a significant difference in productivity and decision making when applied correctly. Thank you.